Hey, what's up? It's DeHuff. It's another episode of DeHuff Uncensored. Make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. I'm also on YouTube, so go to YouTube, search DeHuff Uncensored, and again, have your way with that subscribe button. Please do so. This episode is presented to you by Superbook Sports, Total Beverage in Westminster and Thornton, and Blake Street Tavern. A lot to get to today. Got a lot of great headlines coming your way. Do want to tell you, I had a run-in again with the Karen at the pool, the one that kind of accused my son of being some predator or whatever at the pool a few weeks ago. She was at the pool yesterday when we were there. We're always at the pool, and I hardly ever see this woman, but this is the first time I've seen her since the incident. She said nothing to me. Nothing to me. I was expecting it. I kind of wanted it. You know how you're like, ooh, I'm ready. I don't want to start nothing, but I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. But she didn't say anything. Her and her husband just sat there on the edge of the pool every now and then making like, I'm a tough guy type of look at me. And I'm like, whatever, come on. Bring it on. Bring it on, son of a bitch. I'll fight you right now. I will. No, they didn't do anything. And my son was even nice to them. Went over and said, how you guys doing today? Like, he's super fucking nice. My kid is one of the nicest people in the world. And she said, I don't know if she even said anything. I was hoping she would have apologized, but she didn't. She had a perfect opportunity. I was hoping that she would have come out of her Karen ways and just been like, I'm a bitch. But she didn't. She didn't. She only lasted like 15 minutes. And then they left. Like, you had an opportunity to be a good person and realize that you made a mistake, but she didn't. She didn't. And I sure ain't going to apologize for nothing. My kid did nothing. Anyway, it could have been dramatic, but it wasn't. But anyway, we ended up staying at the pool for 4 to 5 hours, something like that. And we ended up doing a video with the kids. I did. And my daughter kind of directed it. My son was the camera guy. And which is funny, my son has what we call sausage fingers. Okay? They kind of get in the way of a lot of things. And bless his heart, he does his best. But he was trying to hold the camera. He has my phone, and his fingers kept going over the lens. And I'm like, dude, I'll move your fingers. Move your fingers. Constantly. I'm saying, move your fingers. And when you're trying to get something as simple as recording stuff like this, it does get frustrating after a while. And what was really frustrating, and I can still feel it today, is one of the scenes was I was going to belly flop. And I'm like, okay, let's belly flop. Do a first belly flop. It was like a perfect belly flop because it hurt immediately. And then come to find out, my son wasn't recording. I'm like, oh my God. So I had a belly flop twice and my chest still hurts. I may end up being bruised because of it. And you know me, I'm a delicate flower. Okay. I'm lucky I didn't break a rib. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. And nobody knows it yet. I don't know. I don't notice it because it's just like hidden under the layers of fat that I'm actually injured. So, I thank my son for bruising me. But it was fun. We ended up doing a video. If you go to my Facebook page and my Twitter account, you can find the video. It's pretty funny. Hey, let's jump into some headlines. This is still weird to talk about, but it's a thing. At Patrick Space Force Base in Florida, Corey Johnson, who's 29 years old, and keep in mind, they're in Florida, was arrested for trying to enter the facility. The Space Force Base, which still sounds made up, but it's still a thing. And I do respect them. They're branches of the military, and they're doing their thing, okay? I get it. Still don't know exactly what they do. I don't. But, let's see, this Corey Johnson guy, he said when he got arrested for trying to enter the facility, he said he was there on behalf of the president. Why was he there on behalf of allegedly on behalf of the president? Because there was U.S. aliens fighting with Chinese dragons and it needs to stop. What? Oh my, how do you, as the arresting authority, not like burst into laughter? He'd be like, he's like, the U.S. aliens are fighting the Chinese dragons. Be like, Bitch, what you on? What are you smoking? How much crack have you had today, sir? A lot. Why? U.S. aliens are fighting Chinese dragons. I don't know how people act when they're on crack. I honestly don't. But I guess that's a good thing. This is a hilarious story when you think about it. But until, bam, all of a sudden you got U.S. aliens fighting Chinese dragons on I-25. Okay, guys? That's what listen, Corey Johnson, he's ahead of the game, okay? He knows something. My God, could you imagine aliens fighting dragons over at Elidge Gardens? Yeah, come on. This is so dumb. So dumb. There's so many crazy people out there, man. And I don't know what I would do if somebody was like dead serious and they're like, yeah, aliens are fighting dragons. Really? Man, okay, sure. I'll just go along with it and just let them continue spilling their guts on it and be like, fine, that's fine. So you think that's real? All right. A young couple bought a new house as I'm spitting all over the place. I'm spitting all over the place. A young couple bought a new house and they began to renovate it, as a lot of people do. They got a good deal on it. I want to say it was just under $200,000. And they started noticing like a nasty smell when they started ripping things out. It started busting down walls and shit. They uncovered, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've heard of when it comes to renovating. They uncovered various bowls, glasses, and pieces of cutlery, none of which had been cleaned. They were stained and they were all grimy and hard and crusty. Who fucking does that? There was things in the wall. There was things in the vents, in the closets. They just find all these things, just random dishes, not cleaned. Somebody was just like, I just don't want to do it. So the obvious reason for this is they're feeding monsters in the basement. It's obvious, guys. We know that there was something in the basement and they're feeding it. So it didn't take over the world. Absolutely right. No, it's just weird. How lazy do you have to be to not wash your dishes? And instead, you're just like, let's just shove them in the vents. Let's do that. Let's shove them behind the walls. Let's shove them in the closet. Let's stick knives under the carpet. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm curious of what the mindset of somebody that did that, what they were thinking. I have never heard that. I'm sure some of you guys out there have run into weird stuff when you are renovating houses. You see weird stuff. I do know somebody that was I don't know if he still does it, but he was a realtor, and he was going to show a house, and there was nobody supposed to be in this house, and he's walking around, and I think he was previewing the house before he took a client in there, and he goes downstairs and he keeps hearing something, and he goes in like the basement, and then this guy appears out of nowhere, just like from behind a door, and just goes, I have AIDS. And then my buddy just like ran. Like, what the fuck was that? Who was it? There was nobody supposed to be in there. Fucking weird. And hopefully the guy didn't actually have AIDS, and hopefully he's healthy. But obviously, he was either joking or I don't know, something's going on. That's not what I want to see, especially when I'm by myself, just going in essentially a strange house, and somebody just peeks out they could say anything, it would freak me out. Like you're walking down in the basement all by yourself, and somebody comes out, I like animal crackers. Like, fuck! They are delicious. Oh God. He almost touched me. I got some more headlines coming your way, but first, summer is here, and there's no better time to make your first bet with Superbook Sports. Along with its usual vast betting menu, Superbook already has a lineup for every pro football game this fall. Plus, when you make your first deposit on the Superbook app or sign up at superbook.com. They're going to match 100% of your money up to $500. It's never too early to start thinking about football at Superbook Sports. So place your bet and start winning today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, I'm sure you guys have heard of ghosting. Maybe you don't really understand what it is, and that's fine. I don't really get the big deal about this, but I'm going to go through it. So ghosting, if you didn't know, is when someone cuts off all online communication with another person without an explanation. So you could just be like, you're dating somebody and you're going back and forth, and all of a sudden they just don't respond back to you. You're like, what the fuck? It's called ghosting. They disappear without a trace, essentially. So Filipino lawmakers are proposing a bill to declare ghosting as an emotional offense. Ghosting causes trauma as it develops feelings of rejection and neglect. Oh, welcome to the real fucking world. That shit happens all the time. I get it. But what if the person being ghosted is a clingy weirdo? Right? Can we all be honest there? Remember back when you dated, or maybe you just know of people that have dated people like this, where they're just extra clingy or they're weird, and you're like, how the fuck do I stop this? Like, you go out with them and then you realize this was a mistake. This was a big mistake. I was probably one of those people where they're like, why did I go out with him? He's a fucking weirdo, right? Clingy weirdo. Scott the Huff is. Okay, guess what? I don't see the big deal in ghosting somebody. I know it hurts to be dumped, and that's essentially dumping somebody. Now, that being said, let me just say this. Have the balls to at least break up with somebody. But if you get to the point where, like, they're just not getting it, if you flat out say, listen, I don't want to see you anymore, and they keep texting you, first of all, there's plenty of things you can do. You can block the crazy person if you need to. But I guess I understand why you would just not, talk back to them. But to just ghost somebody and not have the nuts to actually say, hey, listen, it was fun that one night, or I didn't really have a good time that one night, so I'd like to just not talk to you again. That's better than ghosting somebody. But that being said, it's not the fucking end of the world, people, and there shouldn't be a law or a bill proposed or whatever the fuck because somebody could get their feelings hurt. That's ridiculous. I think this is a horrible idea, and it better not pass. And I know it's not in the United States, it's in the Philippines, but still, that's something that could leak over to us. And I don't want that. We're already too sensitive in this country and in this world in general. Everybody gets their feelings hurt. I get it. It hurts. Life sucks. And it must hurt your feelings to be ghosted. You just need to get over it and move on. Fuck, man. Pull up your big boy pants or your big girl pants and fucking move on. My God. Oh, he's not responding back to me, or she's not responding back to me. I've been ghosted. My life sucks. Fuck off. Come on, people. We are such wusses nowadays. Who cares? I get it. But my freaking God. Bunch of babies. People in Western China, now I sound like a racist. People in oh my God, I can't even speak. People in a southwestern Japanese city have come under attack from monkeys that are trying to snatch babies, biting and clawing at their flesh, and sneaking into nursery schools. That's creepy and scary as hell. The attacks have happened to 58 people as of right now since July 8th. And they're getting so bad in Yamaguch City, the city hall has hired a special unit to hunt the animals with tranquilizer guns. Whoa. That's listen, like, you go to the zoo, the monkeys are quick and they can be aggressive, and that's freaky. And thankfully, we don't have to deal with that here in the US, but there's a lot of places across the world where there's monkeys, they're just everywhere, and different types of animals that are similar to that. And that's scary as hell, like, and part of that is, I would imagine that the reason why they're so aggressive is from people feeding them. That's why you should never feed wild animals. It just encourages bad behavior and it makes them become numb to humans. And then all of a sudden we're interacting so much. It's just you get this shit happening. Next thing you know, what's going to happen here in the United States? The equivalent is like either pigeons going crazy and attacking people, ripping their flesh off the face, or ducks. Next thing you know, we got a duck crisis on our hands, right? I can't do Donald Duck. I cannot do Donald Duck. My father-in-law, Tim, can do a Donald Duck. In fact, he just retired from the fire station. Maybe that's his new career. He's the new Donald Duck voice. But he can do it really well. I can't. But I mean, come on. I see people feeding ducks all the time, and they just walk up to you like no big deal, especially geese. Geese freak me out because they're fucking aggressive. Geese are assholes. They are. You know that. You see these Canadian geese all over the place. Doesn't matter where you're at in Colorado. There's probably geese somewhere. And those fuckers are mean. Mean. They won't get out of your way. So you just got to drive until they get mad and get out of the way. Don't run them over because that's fucked up. But I'm curious, like, what kind of people did they hire to tranquilize these? I had a couple visions in my head. You got that guy from Jurassic Park at the beginning where he's just like, clever girl. When he's talking about the raptors. They hunt in packs. Whatever. I don't remember what accent he had. But then he ends up dying. But then I was like, ooh, maybe it's Sylvester Stallone type, kind of like a Rambo guy. And he's just like, hey, I'm here to take down some monkeys. Did I ever tell you this story? I'm not going to tell you who told me this story. And so there's a good chance it's false, okay? I don't need Sylvester Stallone and his people coming after me. This is a story I heard, and I don't know if it's true. But I'm going to tell you this rumor that I was told. Okay, so he was on set of a movie. I don't know what movie it was. And he had like a microphone still on him. It was either a movie set or he was being interviewed. And he went back to his trailer. The microphone was still on. And they could hear him in the audio truck as he was getting a blowjob from a lady of the evening. And he said, jiggle the balls. That's the only part I remember. And he's like, hey, jiggle the balls. Anyway, so you never know. Maybe it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody, get down. The monkeys, they are coming. Okay, that's all. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now you're going to go around and be like, jiggle the balls. Every time you see Sylvester Stallone on TV, that's going to go through your head. Jiggle the balls. Woo! That felt good. You're welcome. That's what Stallone said. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully my son didn't listen to this episode. He was listening to the other episode that I previously, 174, and he comes in after I record it, and he's just like, Dad, that was great. You did a great job. Like, super positive. I'm like, wow. And then he said the P word, and I'm like, you can't say that. Mom's going to be mad. You shouldn't have been listening. Like, he said it. He's like, but I don't know what it means. But it just sounded funny the way you said it. Because I was like, it stabbed me in the pussy. Okay. Anyway, listen to 174 if you haven't. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm a bad parent. I am. Listen, that happens. Kids hear shit that rolls out of your mouth as a parent, and you're like, I'm not really upset that he said it. I'm just more concerned about who he says that in front of, and then I get in trouble for it. Like, get called into the principal's office and be like, your son, Mr. Duff, said some things that shouldn't be coming out of his mouth. I'm like, what did he say? He said, you stabbed me in the pussy. Like, ah. Do you know where he learned that from, Mr. Duff? I do. I do. Uh, anyway, have you guys checked out my podcast, Duff Uncensored? Huh? I talk about a lot of weird stuff. Hey, if you guys want to pop on the podcast, I got only 15 more. 15. God, I'm stupid. 25 more episodes, and then it's episode 200. I can't wait for that. It's exciting. Episode 200. I got a lot of things. I have a lot of things planned for it. And part of the plan is for you guys to interact with me because I love it when you guys share stories. It could be just about anything. It could be just you saying, hey, thanks for doing the podcast. It brightens my day or something like that. Or sometimes I eat my lunch and I listen to you, Scott. So just know that as you're doing this podcast, somebody's shoving a wiener down their throat because he likes hot dogs, is what I'm guessing. Stuff like that. Or maybe you have a crazy story you want to share from your childhood or something that you've been told by your parents. Maybe it's a creepy story. I don't mind. I just want episode 200 to be huge, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So whatever you want to share, whatever questions you may have, just send them my way, dehuffuncensored@gmail.com. Send me an email and just write in the subject line, episode 200. Okay, that's it. And then send it my way. If you don't want me to say your name, that's okay too. You can stay anonymous. Some people like to do that, and that's okay. Again, dehuffuncensored@gmail.com. I'm going to try to get some prizes involved too for people that interact. So keep that in mind. dehuffuncensored@gmail.com. You can ask me anything. It's cool. I'll spill the beans. I'll change people's names if I need to tell a funny story, and that's okay. dehuffuncensored@gmail.com. Be a part of episode 200. It's right around the corner. I think it's going to be in about a month by the time we get to that one, but I want to have a stockpile and I want it to be just an epic episode, and you're the one to help get it to there. So dehuffuncensored@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. And if you're able, please give it a nice review. Thanks so much to Superbook Sports. Go to superbook.com. Blake Street Tavern. Go check them out at 23rd and Blake in downtown Denver. Also, Total Beverage. Just go to totalbev.com. It's DeHuff Uncensored. Let's keep moving forward. I'll talk to you next time.